It is episode 32 of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. And I'm going to get my phone for this opener because we're on some massively different time zones again, Mr. Devil Walk.
Do you
It
want a
is the
spoiler from my time or you're good to go?
I'm gonna try and get this right. Yeah. I've got my time on my phone. That's why I had to get my phone. Yeah, and I'm just gonna show I'm not looking at any other thing. It's just that my time in it. So I'm in Hong Kong. It's the 10th of November, 2025. It is 7:12 for me, which means for DevWalk, it should be 12:12.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, 12:12 in Sweden. That's not too bad. I can actually get that bit right. I'm just coming back from Chengdu. I wasn't there obviously working the event. I was working on some other things. I launched my mousepad finally. I had some fan meetings, some watch parties. It's China's just different, man. China is like a place of fandom and people that love Counter Strike, people that um, have a different level. Like, I'm not gonna say like they're the best fans, but they just have a different way of showing their fandom. Just
Yeah.
a different style, and they appreciate things a lot. Obviously, Counter Strike continues to grow out there, which is a very good sign. I was even in a PC club where there were still a few people playing Counter Strike. The PC club time is actually it's still banging. It's still actually it was full most day that I was there. Doesn't matter what time it was, people sat down there. One guy was sleeping in his chair. I thought that's commitment. Don't know if I would sleep in the PC place, but he was
Is he
rocking that.
paying like do you pay like hourly? So he's just like I'll have 8
Well,
hours and
the guy who owns it said like they have membership, right? He can just like if he's paid for like the month's membership, he can be there as long as he wants. So if he's
oh,
just taking a good nap between the hardcore gaming session, there's a lot of people playing that Arc Arc something.
yeah, Arc Raiders.
Yeah, yeah. And there was
Apparently, this is actually a funny story on that. So
okay.
apparently one of the developers
Mm.
regularly goes and buys like the same thing in my girlfriend's like work. So he
Oh, is
goes
it from
like
Sweden?
yeah, it's I think it's Swedish. At least
Okay.
he's working, from here.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, he goes in and buys like a Red Bull or like the same sandwich and at like really early, like
Mhm.
hours in the morning, and he does the same order every single day.
Rinse and
It's
repeat.
just
He's a man of
yeah,
habit, a creature of habit, we call that.
yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, yeah, there's a lot of people playing that game. That's definitely popping off there. Bit too much Valorant for my liking, but I don't know. I guess people over there are just liking it. Obviously, it was crazy in Chengdu because Worlds was going on while IEM was going on. There's a lot of esports stuff happening. And Beijing had the Honor of Kings tournament with 60,000 people for a mobile game inside an arena, by the way.
Mm.
Just gonna say that beat every other game we've ever had. So that's impressive. Mobile game maybe number one right now. What have you been doing this past week, mate?
Oh, I've been watching Counter Strike, and I mean, I've had like a dinner with my mom and her man. Had kind of like a double date where we're actually looking. This is obviously not like super confirmed or anything, but
Yeah.
looking if we should move into like a house in their yard, like
Okay.
on their land. So building it and yeah, there's a potential there to move into a bigger place. But obviously that's far away. It's only in like a planning. Um, kind of stage right now. So yeah,
Hmm.
a bit exciting looking at that kind of stuff. Talking with my girlfriend, agreeing on floor tiles and bathroom stuff and what kind of
I would just let
windows
her pick it
would we
all.
want.
I would not be trying
Yeah,
to
that's
agree. I'd
pretty
just be say,
much
yeah, yeah, good.
it's pretty much my attitude. But there's some things you'll mention where I'm like, nah, I'm not really keen on that.
The pink
So
fluffy flooring, yeah. You weren't down for
no,
that.
but she wants like the easiest stuff ever to clean. So
Ah, well, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. So for example, like bathroom stuff, she doesn't want too many tiles because then
Hmm.
like in the I don't know creases, is that what it's called?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so in the creases,
It
like you
go
have to
down
like
in between where
almost use a
the grout
toothbrush
is.
to yeah, exactly. So that kind of stuff she kind of wants to avoid, and yeah, so it's been interesting to kind of discuss that kind of stuff.
I'll tell you this from being in both Shanghai and Chengdu, and just going back to robot delivery service times. I'm definitely thinking about getting one of these robot cleaners, just because it's awesome. It's just fun to watch. I was
Like just
following my
on the vacuum cleaner thing.
yeah, bro. I need to get one of these things, man. They obviously have very big ones in the shopping malls and in the hotel we were staying in, but just in general, I think it's really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Um, I will go into before we get into Chengdu. I'll go into some things because it is our podcast, so I can do this. This bad boy is not officially out online. We just did the launch event in China, and this is the Banks Collection mousepad. The first one, I call it a collection because there's going to be multiple of them. It's called the Heavy Claw. It's a 6 millimeter control pad. It comes in stitched and non-stitched versions. I'm just going to get the non-stitched version out to show. Now, people might think from the design that it was going to be like some crazy looking design, but that was just the packaging being cool art. There's my logo down on it. Nothing too fancy, but it's a slightly different size than what normal control pads are. I've gone for the same size like an artisan, but it's definitely more like you think of a QCK or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
we've got a base. So I'm not going to do a whole promo because I'm going to put a video out about this later. But years and years ago, I used to work at Zowie when the company first started. Always been interested in making products. Had the chance to try and make my own one. Um, the company I'm working with is called ESP Tiger. We spoke about that last episode. But I told them I wanted full control, every decision down to me. Some players who are my friends, obviously I can't name them. They're not endorsing it or anything like that. But they tested it. Um, I've got a video showing all the different samples from different events. I filmed everything of like the process I went through of how we made it. And I'll just say this, if you get to test it and you get your hands on it, I promise you, for the type of pad it is, there is nothing like this on the market. It has the best base, which is impossible to move. I can put it on this like mirror in front of me and it won't fall down. It'll just stick there and stay. Can you see the mirror in the background
Yes.
on the camera? There you go.
Well, your head is in the way.
Oh,
There you go.
so the whole point is that I made a base. So a lot of players said, especially with like the artisans, when I was getting feedback from players, that if they move too fast, the artisan would still move. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big
Um,
problem if
and
you're
I
like a low sensitivity user because you're like fucking
yeah,
moving your arm like crazy.
getting problems the whole time. I could probably see how good this is, but I think I can leave that all the way. I'll make sure I flatten it out. But yeah, the a lot of time went into this. It was over 2 years since I had the idea, and it's about 1.5 year of development. I feel sorry for ESP Tiger because I was kind of not an asshole, but I was like very specific on the material, on the feel. It is definitely so smooth, but you still have the stopping power without it being too spongy. And it's a six
Mm.
millimeter base, which a lot of people have started to go away from. But I wanted to bring a base and a feeling that was not currently there. So I'm very proud of it. And to be clear, ESP Tiger paid me nothing. This is a collaboration that we made together. This is not like they pay me to put my name and logo on it because look at this. I'm a host and interviewer. Why would you buy a host and interviews mousepad? It speaks in the quality of the product and what we've got. And there'll be a few players that you know and love that'll be using it going into 2026. Obviously, they shouldn't change before a major coming up. That would be very stupid. So I'm very proud. The launch event, by the way, I'm gonna have, I don't want to take too much time on all this shit. Chinese fans know me so well.
You have to
So we
show
know,
the voodoo doll, man.
yeah, no. We'll start with a little show and tell. So obviously, you know I love anime, yeah. They got me these Labubus from Top Toy, blind boxes, and different fans just kept giving them to me to open, and they would
Oh
just film me
wow.
opening them. Yeah, and then I've got them on my bag at the moment as well. I just took them off to show you, and then a Sagara one as well, and there's one more, an Itachi, which is like the secret rare because obviously it's a blind box, right? You don't always get that. And the Itachi also is coming my way. One of the guys is going to bring it to Hong Kong, he said. So the fans know what I like, and they were just bringing it. One guy made me some handmade, just his passion that he does this. He has a normal full time job, he was saying, but he makes bracelets. He made me some bracelets. I got some Counter Strike gloves given to me.
By the
Um,
way, when you
the
bend down, just for the viewers, That
Yeah.
is actually Banks's trash bin that you can see
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, I'm using the trash bin as a camera because this hotel room is, it's a little bit small, I'm trying to balance everything out here. Then this is kind of 2 very funny gifts from fans. This kind of I don't know how we explain
Dude, this one is hilarious.
like, it's me. It's from CAC. I know what this is as well. When I was wearing this suit, like I kicked my legs out, so I'm guessing what's my leg here. But my other foot is very small, and this one's really big. And they've just molded the picture around like a little pillow, like I could just sleep with myself, you know. Um, they said it's a meme. It's like some Chinese meme. Didn't understand. I didn't get it at all. Um, then this one though, Devil. I didn't show you this one. Look at this one.
No? I couldn't hear it.
Don't
Oh
hear it
my
at all.
oh, I heard something there. Uh,
So
I
it's
think it's
me
not picking
shouting,
up.
"Are you?" God damn it, stupid
It's
microphone.
not picking up
Okay,
perfectly.
the whole thing is it shouts, "Are you ready?" So they obviously took it from one of the broadcasts, and they put a voice box inside of it, and you just press this button and it shouts, "Are you ready?" every single
That's
time.
pretty cool.
That was a nice gift. But honestly, Chinese fans from giving me different things to try and food to I did a fan meeting where like it was a watch party as well. So we did on the Chengdu one, over 180 people were registered to come on the same day that the finals. Some people had tickets for the finals and skipped the third place decider just to come to the photograph and signing session and then go and
Oh
watch the
wow.
finals afterward. Yeah. And in Shanghai, we had over 100, but not all 100 came. The location, I just have to be honest, was a little bit not so good. It was given to us by Shanghai government. I did an interview with the media people there. They had a security and everything, but it just wasn't so close to a subway. So that's something I can
Yeah.
learn from on that. Remember, I'm organizing this all with ESP Tiger. It's something brand new for me. Normally, when I do these things, it's with a tournament organizer, right? And it's at an event. But I'm still so happy. So if anyone who does watch this, oh, by the way, Devwalk, they know you now more um, because of the podcast. Someone's taking the podcast every episode and AI translating it into Chinese subtitles and posting it on the
Really?
Billy and stuff. Yeah. So we have a Chinese audience, which we don't see on YouTube because obviously it's banned in their country. They can access
Okay.
it during
That's
using a
that's pretty
VPN.
cool.
But we got a Chinese fan base out there that enjoy the podcast and they like what we go through. So shout out to them. But just
What's the
us,
like video website for
Billy or
Chinese fans?
something.
Billy?
Billy. Yeah.
All
Then
right.
obviously they put the clips on Douyin, which is Chinese TikTok. It literally
All
is
right.
just TikTok, but it's called Douyin. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of people that mentioned that they really like the podcast, and they just
Cool.
liked like listening and watching it. So we do even have a Chinese audience out there as well. But yeah, just for anyone that was in China and came to visit me, thank you very much because it was really good fun. And I'm telling you, mate, we sat there the 4 hours of non-stop photos and signing into watching a grand final, like watch partying when we're all sat down, laughing a bit, screaming at moments, reacting. I'll say this, right? Chinese fans, they react to everything, like the crazy kills, the nades going down. Oh, guess what they call Molodoy as well? Guess what his
I had no
nickname is?
idea.
So I think in Russian, Molodoy means young or like young boy or something like that, right? Um, that's the loose translation. But because he's an Orpa, yeah, and they like Manasi. Obviously, Manasi they like to call Baby Goat, but also Yellow Flash from Naruto. They've called Molodoy now Black Flash. Now I said
Black
in
Flash.
English, we wouldn't really say that most likely. Yeah. I said maybe you want to adjust the nickname to like Blue Flash. Yeah. Because Kazakhstan flag, blue. Yeah. Maybe something like that. But for them, that's their little nickname for him and they love it. They've become a big fan of obviously they like the stars, right? They like the flashy players and the one that brings on the
Yeah,
highlights. So
yeah.
it makes sense that they like a lot of the Molodoy action coming in there. So yeah, the time in Chengdu and Shanghai for me was really awesome. I've never been to Chengdu before. The fans were amazing. So big thank you for everyone that turned up. And for the mouse pad, there'll be more from my own personal side that I'll put out there and talk about. Obviously, I've got to send you one to test out at the same time, mate. But
Yes, 100%.
I'm
I really want to do that.
I'm very proud. Like it's not about just like my name and logo to it. This is actually something with quality and something with depth. And my whole thing with this is because I don't care so much about the numbers of mouse pads being sold, yeah, like I do talent work, I have all this stuff. I wanted to make a product that is even just one, two, 3% better than what's already out on the market. And we've 100% managed to do it with all the feedback from players, my testing, and just adjusting the whole way. This base that no one else has, for example. At least say no one
But
has
it
for the
is
moment.
like a
Obviously, they'll probably have to
QCK
take it and
heavy
copy.
plus or something.
I would say it's bigger than a QCK, right? And
Okay.
it's not as hard. You know, the QCK is just completely like rough. Yeah. It's a
Hmm.
smoothed out version because
Okay.
QCK hasn't it's not slander on Steel Series. It's one of the most well sold mouse pads in the world, but it's like it's not improved. They've not changed things in so long. And that's it with a lot of these bigger brands. They haven't changed things. Where I wanted to just push the envelope to make something that players actually, and it's not all players. You would have to be someone interested in a control pad. You wouldn't use it if you like the speed pad, for example. But it is a bit faster than the QCK. Obviously, you'll break it in over the first bit of time and use. But I'm just so proud that I've been able to put this together and all this hard work and all the very kind players that actually happy to test it and go through it all. So I'm excited to see what
Sounds
happens.
cool.
But my thing was just to put something better than what was already there on the market. So we
I'm
can go from
excited to
my
test
crazy
it.
time in Chengdu into the crazy event that was Chengdu, because boy oh boy,
Yeah.
from start to finish, this was wild. This was actually wild. Now it was a
I
crowd
mean,
every step of the way.
I think the craziest part about this is there's things to talk about in every segment of the tournament finishes.
Yeah,
From 16th place to first place, there's, you know, a lot to kind of digest in some sense. Um, I don't really know. I assume we'll start in the same kind of aspects we've done in the past, where we go through
yeah,
the
bottom to top.
list from bottom to top.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, where do you want to start with
I
this
think we
one?
just start with 3D Max, and I'll be honest, I saw obviously a lot of the early games, right?
Yep.
I was still recovering and stuff, so I was watching a lot of Counter Strike. Then obviously I flew to China, and it was like a day's travel because I went Ukraine to London to Beijing to Shanghai. So I didn't see, like, there was no Wi-Fi on my plane, by the way. That was crazy for like a 10-hour flight. I was really sad about that. I actually thought I'd be able to like low watch the games in maybe like 240p or something, but I was
Yeah.
just following nothing. I couldn't even get a scoreboard. So that was impossible. So let's start with 3D Max because 3D Max's CAC run, yeah, in
Yep.
Shanghai was positive. We spoke about that already. Bucharest was pretty rough when we look at the teams they lost to. Here, losing to G2 again isn't something you're going to hold against 3D Max, but you're losing to Lin Vision 2-1. Lin Vision is a team. If you look at what 3D Max's development has been like, and then they speak about their own consistency issues. But I say we, I can't talk for you. I thought they were progressing with Gravity being the IGL, but maybe now they're coming a bit stuck, and maybe it's getting a bit tighter in some of these games where they can't work their way out of it. Because last place, I would have never put 3D Max in there.
No,
Never.
I mean it's a massive disappointment, and it also kind of puts into question their CS Asia Championship run, because I mean
Just a little bit.
since they had that final, they've
Yeah.
had six BO3s. They've
Mhm.
won one of them, and that's a best of three against Saw. They have losses, 2-0 losses against Bait, Astralis, G2, 2-1 losses against FlyQuest and Lim Vision. And if you just look at those teams in general, where they are, like 3D Max are at, where they're kind of in a top 10 level space, or a top 10 team space, and, losses, Bait, Astralis, G2, FlyQuest, Lim Vision, that is not looking good. Like,
Yeah.
that to me makes me almost question it, and turning kind of the question into, was it just a peak moment for them to reach the
Mhm.
final in CS Asia Championship, and more of a fluke rather than them improving? Um,
Do you want me to give you a
bec-
wild take on it for you?
yeah,
Because I'm looking at Maka specifically, and I'm actually, if this is the case, I don't have any proof of it. But do you remember he missed one day of an event where Nivera stepped in for him?
yeah,
Yeah. And Nivera stepped in because it was some like family issues, I think they said it was, right? So if something bad has happened within the family, maybe something has thrown Maka off his game because the one we were praising was Maka being freed up, Maka having more impact. Well, now he's
Yeah.
had a couple of back-to-back tournaments with some rough periods. It's not information we can say is like 100%, but I'm wondering if there's something going on that is obviously outside of the game, outside of the server, because losing a player like that, dropping off is harsh, and then everyone else has to try and pick up the pieces. So maybe it's just in my thoughts that there could be something there as to why there is such a drop off.
I mean, that is completely reasonable, but I also think it's a little bit with the, we've talked about Mongols and burnout issues to that
Yep,
sense, where, 3D Max has also been a team that has attended a massive amount of tournaments and traveled a lot,
grinding.
played a lot, grinded a lot. So I think that also kind of takes, some space in the conversation, but
Mhm.
it's still worrying signs that, you go from being in a final you probably had control over, and a lot of people thought you were going to win, to then dropping
Yep.
off and being last place in is it two tournaments in a row? They didn't get last place in the other one maybe, but
No,
they were
Bucharest
close
wasn't
to.
last, almost last.
Yeah, which is, a kind of a reverse in the question, and you wanted to build a storyline of them. Okay, maybe they can finally, you know tear into some of the top teams, make it close, and make, start to do some difficulties for them. But right
Yep.
now it's looking like they're just gonna fade away a little bit, and we'll probably see a
Yeah.
little bit of a refresh for them next year, and it's not looking good
But if they
for
drop off
this year.
further in the major like this, and then they're gonna lose a lot of VRS points as well, they're gonna be back in that same position of trying to climb back up. And
Yeah,
that's where it gets really scary for these teams, right? So it's a needed turnaround for the major. Obviously, they're not here playing in Hong Kong, so they got some time, but it's not far away from them. It's not far away at all. If you think stage one is there's stage two, right? But stage one starts on the 24th of November already. We're already on the 10th. 10th is
yeah,
already here. So we'll have to wait and see. If people wonder, by the way, why I'm looking down all the time, I've got such a janky hotel setup right now that my camera's on a bin. My laptop's down here, my microphone's here. I'm all over the place. So my eyes, my head will be going everywhere during this episode, but that'll just be it. Next team we got to look at, mate.
yeah.
Phase. Oh
Phase.
dear. Oh dear.
Should I start this one?
I'll let you start this one because you actually hit the nail on the head last episode, right? Of what could happen, and it's happened now. Two tournaments.
Yeah, I think. I mean, first of all, the resurgence of Phase was, kind of greatly overhyped. Brokey has not looked as good as when he made his return. And, they bombed out last place. They've also had struggles if you look at them. I'm just going to put up their page actually on HLTV in,
Hmm.
the recent matches. You can look at everything. If you're being mean in how you pick the results, you can look at it from, Vitality loss, Mouse loss expected, but then going into CS Asia Championship, they lost twice to Foot. They had narrow
Yep.
wins against Bait and Tai Lu. And now, losing to Mouse, no shaming that at all. Uh, but then VP, like the one thing you should, like, okay,
VP
great
with
from
two
VP.
rookies.
Yeah,
Two
great from
rookies.
VP. Yeah, but they're in a rebuild. Like Faces in a rebuild. They've put in
Mhm.
Jacob. They twist his back and everything. But if you actually look and compare that to VP, who's brought two, kind of, what do you call it, rookie players in. They came from a team that was ranked 117 on VRS and 209 on HLTV ranking. Put them in the team and beat FaZe. That should not be the case for FaZe. They should be, and this is more recent than their own rebuild. So
Yeah.
in some sense, BPS had less time to integrate these two
Yeah.
players than FaZe have, and FaZe should
Perfecto's
be a
also new
completely,
IGL.
yeah, a completely different caliber of a team. And
Yep.
it's almost a little bit embarrassing for FaZe to get this loss. The mouse one, no one expects them to beat Mouse, especially of how good Mouse was this tournament. But that's another
Yeah.
kind of conversation. But going into it, this is not good, and it's starting to look like Face. I don't know if they're gonna have the patience to continue building the project that they started here,
Yeah.
where I could foresee some more changes being needed for them to kind of kickstart this.
And I'm gonna say similar to you, but I think it would come to a point if, for example, looking at stage one, they should still, even at their worst day, qualify for stage two of the major. But I struggle to see them qualifying for stage three unless some amazing boot camps happen, some amazing grind happens. They've got now 14 days from today, yeah, and obviously whenever they came back from Chengdu to get ready for the major. Now, a lot of experience also will be able to be had by Jacob here. I expect him to be maybe able to farm a bit more against these stage one teams. If you look at who they'd face,
Yeah,
um,
but they're facing
but
Lim
if
Vision in the
it's
first in the major. I'd be even
yep
be a little bit worried about that game. Like,
in a
normally you
best of
would,
one,
yeah, you would put Face in a category of like, yeah, they're gonna win this easy, like
yep,
no worries at all. Like, but now I feel not 100%.
you're on edge. You're
Yeah,
on edge.
that
If
doesn't
I
feel
look
good.
down this, if I look down this right now, if I look at the teams, so 8 teams qualify from this. There's Legacy, I put above Phase, Game Legion, Bait, Fnatic, NIP, Lin Vision, maybe even a Paravision could challenge them. So they're right on the edge of like whether they can do well or not. And obviously, if a couple of best of ones went really badly, like the magic of majors that happens, it's a worrying time. But Carrigan can't go down and out like this. It can't be like this. We can't have praised him so much, and we know why we praised him because he was damn good. But yeah, it's going to be all about what they do at this major. If it turns out to be a terrible major, I see two minimum player changes. Minimum two player changes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good for Face.
Nope.
Not at all.
And do you know who else is not looking good for? Navi.
That's true. I think them is probably one of the
Mhm.
bigger disappointments for me this tournament. And I think the biggest reason for that is if you looked at the bracket that they had like
Oh,
the
they were
best
so
opportunity
good.
they've ever had to make it to a
Hmm.
playoff and actually, kind of kickstart this project and all their fans into believing that they have a chance of challenging for titles. They
Yep.
had everything going for them. They had a weakened Mongols on their side. They had Astralis
Yep.
struggling. They had obviously Heroic were still on the up and up on their side of the bracket, but um, it's not relevant when you're a top 8 team in the world comparing to a top 20.
Yeah.
Um, and they did not perform. And I think one of the biggest issues, you
Hmm.
can look at even the Astralis game, right?
Oh, but
One of
they
the
they could
biggest
have won
things,
that. They
again,
had that.
100% they could have won that, but they should win that.
Yeah.
Is kind of where we're setting the tone. You look at that, you can, Nuke they could have easily won. Mirage they
Hmm.
played well. Inferno once again, it is almost like I can see Astralis when they're playing this Inferno. Our game plan is to bully Makasa on B.
Yeah. Give him no
And,
hope.
he finished the T side with 2 kills, 10 deaths, and 3 assists.
Hmm.
Um, and he had a terrible, terrible time. And you could see what they tried to do. They consistently tried to bully him. They got him killed early on in the round. He was taking
Yep.
nades after nades after nades straight
Which
into
we've
his
said so many
face.
times on this podcast. So many times.
And the thing is, Navi could still have won that Inferno,
Hmm.
but the reason they lost was because of the game plan of bullying Makase on Banana.
Yeah.
That's the reason they got the edge.
But it's like they're playing his fearlessness against him. Makazi
Yeah.
has said it that he won't run away from a fight. He won't back down. He still believe in it. And by the way, throughout all of this, he doesn't tilt. Yeah, he's not happy, but he's not tilting, he's not affecting the other team players. He was hard countered and didn't adjust. But we've now seen this multiple times from different teams as well. I actually spoke to Blade as well. He said Chengdu was obviously very tough, and like he, if they beat Astralis, obviously it's playoffs, and he said they know how to beat Mongols. That's what he
Yeah.
said to me. Yeah. So like it was like you just said, Blade's agreeing, and because obviously he probably felt they should have won that nuke, it shouldn't have gone into overtime. Um, and then obviously Mirage, it would have been a 2-0 right after that. Things all good. Obviously, we're talking hypothetically, but if they were playing the same way. He did also say that like against Heroic, it just they weren't playing like they normally do. You know, there's a lot of small margins in it. But I feel
Yep.
like with Heroic, it's more maybe maybe Navi themselves didn't respect Heroic enough, which is crazy to say because there's no way they should be doing that. They're not in a position to do that. But that's when we've seen Heroic time and time again. Like remember um, Dallas Heroic takedown phase, and then coming into the major, Carrigan handed it to him. Everyone was fired up after that. You know, it was like one of these
Yeah.
kind of circumstances to me. He also told me, by the way, they'll have a short break. I'm gonna make sure I get the information correct. He said so. Yeah, they're gonna have a break now, and then they get to boot camp. So he feels very confident they'll be prepared mentally for everything. So there's some
Mm.
little insight from Blade
I
himself.
I will
So I was
say they
having a
did
short
look
catch up.
better in terms of like if you looked at the cameras and how tilt people
Hmm.
looked and the general mood and vibe actually looked pretty decent. If
Yeah.
we put it into context of a Navi team, I'm not saying it was like
In
Astralis with
comparison to what it
with,
normally
with
is.
Raga when they were playing, when they were laughing their asses off and just having a great
Yeah.
time. It wasn't like that, but it looked better. Wonderful didn't look as tilt. Because normally you'd see like big movements with his body
Yeah.
in his kind of
Oh.
sighings or
Oh.
tilts or
Yeah. Yeah.
face palms or whatever. It looked better. In that aspect, I think they improved, which is good. But in the kind of getting countered in game, it wasn't the best.
No, not at all. But I'll say also China's never been kind to them from the Shanghai to now. It's not been good.
Yeah,
Tai Lu and Lin Vision, I think we can kind of skip over because like we were hoping one of them would do well. Yeah. They both end
they're
up
kind
going
of where
out.
they should have.
Well, I feel like Tyloo should have been the one that was further ahead, but this was a good one for Lim Vision. Obviously, we're not going to complain about them being able to take down 3D Max. That's a big jump up for them. Um,
Yeah.
do we touch on VP a little bit quickly? Do we give them some time?
I mean, I think we still should credit them a little bit because I think if you look at things, they beat FaZe. They took a map against
Yep.
Vitality. They took a map against G2. I think that's
Yep.
still a great tournament from them. They
By
should
the
be
way, with
proud of
two
it, considering
rookies,
the project. Yeah, like considering where the project is, you should definitely, praise them. I'll be
yeah.
careful in my way of betting on them to win games, but that's
You're not going
just
to have them
like
win these opening games.
it's going to require a little bit more than that. But they're definitely heading in the right direction. They're looking better than they were with their original players,
Yep.
um, or previous players. So, yeah, I think it's a big swing up, and I think you can't really expect more considering the time that they've had.
Yeah. And look at this. Both the rookies underperformed quite a lot, right? They can have a good
Yeah,
map, but they never had a good series. And yet the rest of the players were still able to prop them up a bit. And if you could then build on them rookies getting some more experience like this, them not going to the major, okay, it's all players want to go to the major. It's never nice not, but it could be a blessing in disguise if they keep working hard. If they can
yeah,
work and build upon this, and they agree with these two players, like this is the five they want, I do see. I will be honest, a little bit of potential. There's something there, even with Perfecto as in-game leader. So it's
yeah,
one to keep an eye of because they got no more games now, right? They're chilling. They're going to be a practice team. By the way, the major is in Europe. They get to be a practice team for all the teams that are competing, right?
yeah, and
Dry
everyone would
runs,
want
like
like
yeah,
100% want to
non-major
practice
teams.
them. Yeah,
Of course, this is so they're in a good position because they're going to level up from that as well.
yep,
So it's never nice
100%.
missing the major, but that's the positives for them 100%. That gives them something to work with and to be happy about. Um Heroic, this becomes more and more like the potential is there. Nilo's kept up the really good performance as well. Nilo showed himself to be more than capable. And I think I was streaming when I was watching this game.
Yeah.
And I at one point must have texted you and said about I think that Heroic gonna beat Spirit. They're gonna take him down and Dust 2 and get the 2-0. It didn't happen. Then even Spirit won on Ancient, which is obviously not normally a particularly good map for them. But Heroic deserves a little bit more respect. They keep and do you know what's crazy? I kept saying to people, I was like, "Oh yeah, Heroic's in the major." No, not in the major. Completely, completely
That's
forgot they're not in
crazy.
the major. Yeah, it got bad for them because they're grinding up now right into it, but it's I think this is a team that is building and they are growing and they're not just they can just pull off maybe an upset against a really good team, but they're able to fight in some of these situations. So I'm still liking it.
Yeah.
It's still kind of same sentiments what we had from last episode.
I mean, they had a not a great tournament, but good enough, I think. Uh, Kind of in the same boat as how we talk about VP. Maybe they can definitely upset, and they're on the way of getting to the next level. And seems to me like every tournament we see them, there is a sprinkle of improvement,
Hmm.
and people should definitely be kind of respecting them when they get a game against them. So I
Yeah,
think that's progress. I'm not like super wowed by them, but at the same time, I think it's decent progress.
yeah. Pain we should look at next because it's I'm not gonna say it's bad at all because they had to come straight from Bucharest pretty much. Like maybe they got a day extra to go be in Chengdu and make some magic happen. But they played Spirit, they beat Tyloo, and then they could have taken out the Mongols. And you actually this is Mongols with controllers, remember?
Yeah.
Goes to overtime on the last map. So Pain is still in a position where they're playing from stage 3 of the major, which is really good for them, but also could be really bad for them and not having the reps because they are a long way from being a team capable of doing well at stage 3 from what we've seen in recent times.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare them to obviously a semi-finalist at a major, they're
Mm,
far away from that at the moment. It's good that they are slowly kind of getting back into it, but it might be a little bit too late for
yeah.
some big upsets and big resurgence at the major. So it depends on how you kind of want to contextualize it and compare it. Should we compare it to the pain of the semifinal? This is still bad, or of recent form, I think there's a slight improvement.
I will still say I'm nervous for them from what
Yeah,
we've seen from them, what they show.
100%.
I don't think they are I don't think they have put themselves in a good spot, and I do hope that they can find a way to bounce back from it. I just feel like it's too hit or miss. It's not even about inconsistency. It's literally hit or miss on which player is going to find himself in the flow at the right time. It's not a consistency of the team or the tactics. It's just the read of the game sometimes.
Yeah, I agree on that. But I
Um,
don't really have that much to add on pain other than that.
because we spoke about them so much because obviously
Yeah,
we at the beginning of the year into the major was like, oh, they're rising, they're doing this. Is finally good. They could be the best Brazilian
I mean,
team, you know?
the beginning of the year they were the most exciting team of all the
Yeah,
Brazilian teams to watch.
yeah.
Not really the
But
case anymore.
it's all about how they can climb back up. G2 is a weird one, by the way, because G2 came back into individual form, but then Hunter was sick and Saw had to play, which obviously is going to hurt massively. Saw had to stand in for Heroic one time as well, but poor Saw has the worst luck with this. He's casually just playing against top teams again, trying to fit into this. But their run and their placement, my question to you is that good for where G2 at right now? Is top 8 finish okay?
I mean, the fin
Satisfactory?
the finish itself might not look that good, but I still think
Mhm.
this is a positive tournament for G2. They still pushed Furia to overtime. They won against VP. They won against 3D Max. They obviously pushed even Vitality to a 13-11 on the map. So I mean, if they played with Hunter on the Vitality game, maybe it could have been a 2-1 or
Yeah,
at least 1-1 in maps. So I think it's a respectable result considering the issues they had, and I think it's a positive for them as a team in general, even though they
yeah,
didn't make playoff. But this is a tough tournament to make playoff in. Um,
yes.
so I'll still give praise to G2 that they're slowly but surely getting better and better, and I think if remove some of the unlucky circumstances, they could definitely have been a playoff team.
Yeah, I don't think that they're in a position where we need to worry about them yet, but it's just not the highs of London. But it does seem like that was just kind of a peaking too early or having the dream scenario happen with all the right things at the right time. The thing I liked most about Chengdu for G2 is just seeing it was Heavy God, Malbs, and Matties again coming through and being the front runners, being the
Yeah.
ones that can really change the game around. That to me seems to be the key to success. Not having some players play really well, something like that. It's the three rifles, right? Without Hunter, obviously he's on a rifle, but he's IGLing. The rifle core getting the work done and feeling sharp. So that is a positive they can at least take into the major itself. Um, On to one of the very top teams, one of the teams you expect to always be making hugely deep runs. Well, Spirit didn't even make playoffs.
I
And
wrote them down as one of my biggest disappointments this tournament.
was it you? What did you say to me about Spirit? I don't know
I
if
thought
you
that
want to say it on the podcast, but you know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure what you're referencing now, but I mean, I think personally, I think this might be one of the worst Spirit versions.
That's what you said. That's exactly what you said.
Yeah, and I don't really know where to start about it because it's like, you take this team, you obviously question the firepower of Magix and Sontix to some degree at least. Maybe less so on
Zontix is not as
Sontix.
much. Yeah.
Uh, but at least there's a question in within the team: do they have enough firepower? Do they have enough tools
Yeah.
to challenge? And that's when they were like a top 3, top 4 team pretty consistently.
Hmm.
Uh, they were just losing to Falcons and Mouse essentially, and obviously Vitality at the fact. But I think the biggest disappointment is they made these changes. Now they've had a little bit of a break from tournaments. I think it was like 4 weeks, where they could have sat home, practiced, made sure that everything was working for them, everything is clear, and they show up to this tournament. And I look at Donk's face, and he looks more frustrated now than he ever did during
Ever.
the Magic Sontics kind of uh, base.
Era.
I don't know.
Moments. Yeah.
Yeah, like that roster, I think it looks way more frustrated now, and I think that's a worrying sign. You have the best player in the world. You're not
Yep.
even looking like one of the like when you watch them play, they don't look like they're gonna win tournaments. They don't look like they're gonna challenge. You're gonna have these moments where Donk is kind of carrying you in some rounds, and you get a
Hmm.
couple of rounds of momentum. But that's essentially it. When teams kind of kill Donk, everything's over. Like no one else is going to
Yeah.
step up and give you rounds.
Occasionally
Maybe even
Shiro.
Shiro. Yeah, Shiro has been
Yeah.
good. He's been actually great. He's probably I'll probably say he's the second best opera in the world right now. Um,
Yep.
but if you have the second best opera in the world and the best rifler in the world, and you cannot even make playoff, that is terrible. Honestly, it's it's shit.
It's really shit. And let me give you this. I don't think Spirit or Donk are scary anymore. You know what they were able to do when it was the core of Magix and having Zontix there as well? It was a system of play around
Oof.
Donk, yeah, let him get the openings, let him do some magic, but it was scary. It was frightening what he could do, how he was set up, how he would play into things, right?
Yeah.
And then Zontix would be able to take some map control, hold back, support the team. Magix will play any weapon, any position, any role, drop donk all the time, and again, I'm going to come back to the human aspects because I love to do the psychology side of things. Magix was the glue of this team that you have ripped out. He was so positive as a person. Go watch the video they put out when Magix left of what the players said about him. It's so sad. It's so tough. And I think now they're seeing that glue was. I don't care if he gets 4 kills. You still won a major with that guy. You still won a lot of events with this guy, right? Yes, okay, you won Cologne with Zwei. I'm not taking that away from you. But it has progressively got worse. And I need to look at the last map they played
Well, I'll
against
even like to some degree add some stats to Spirit. I saw this post on Reddit actually. It was essentially a
Okay.
post where they looked at some stats that are maybe
Hmm.
not talked about enough. It's like round win percenting, open and kill percentage, multi kill, 5v4, 45 traded, ADR, and flash assists.
Yep.
And if you look at these stats, the big one about the top 10 teams in the world is that Spirit is by far the worst team in the top 10 in flash assists. By far.
Ooh.
Like it's not even close. They are on if we just compare like, okay, a Spirit versus a Vitality, Vitality
Yep.
is on 0.29 flash assists,
Hmm.
Spirit is on 0.17. Vitality is essentially twice as good with flashing and getting flash assists for their players comparably to Spirit. Now, the second worst team in this is Aurora, as an example. It's 0.22. So they're still way
Hmm.
far, they're far off the second worst team in flash assists in the top 10. And that's a big
That's
issue.
crazy. That's
And
crazy.
I think it's partially not having the support players like Magix and Sontex in the team that could put
Yep.
themselves in that position and flash for Donk and flash for their, front foot players. Um,
Hmm.
and putting star players who are not used to, maybe more used to getting those flashes and getting that support
Yeah.
comparably to being the one that to deliver it. And that's a big issue I see, and it's a big issue for them to, because it's a huge part of why a team is consistent and why you're consistently progressing is to
Yep.
flash someone. I always referenced even back in the day, Shroud was like a mechanical like beast in Counter
Hmm.
Strike, but it doesn't matter how good you are mechanically if you're blind. Like it does not
Yeah.
matter.
You can
So
get
if you're
lucky
gonna,
every now and again, but not every
yeah,
time.
but if you're gonna play against some of these, insane teams, you need your flashes to be on point, either to take
Yep.
map control or put your front players into positions where they could actually frag and continue that momentum, where you get a kill of a flash players and
Yep.
maybe momentum your way into a dry duel afterwards. But it's a worrying sign for Spirit. And for me, 100% the most disappointing team for me in IEM Chengdu is Spirit.
Yep. And I agree with that because you got to put Spirit so high with the potential and the players they have. It's not just Donk as well; it is Shiro there as well.
Yeah.
And we know what Tania can do, but there's a lot of change of how he has to now approach the game and the system he's in. But also, it's like I'm not saying bring back Magics, but the emotional side I
I'm
already spoke
saying that.
about. Are you actually saying it? You
Yeah,
actually
I
just bring
loved
back
him.
what? Zwei out,
I've
Magics in.
100%.
Does that fix everything though? Because the other thing I'll say,
It
one
doesn't
thing I'll
fix
credit Zontix
everything.
for. No, I'll credit Zontix for this. The amount of time he would be able to buy and delay by being a solid anchor was always incredible.
Yeah.
And it was
But
he didn't need
I'm
to
a
be
bigger
flash. He didn't
fan.
need to drop headshots all the time.
I'm a bigger fan of Magix as a player.
Maybe, right? Because I think it's more likely Zontix comes back than Magix comes back, right?
It is, but I still
But
think
maybe if the
Magix
major goes
is.
so bad, for me, If the major goes so bad, he just brings Ontix back, or he's having his time off anyway. He comes back into it. Um, but if they did Magic's back, they would have to be like it would have to be the ultimate fail at the major. It would have to be a huge slip up and face plant.
Yeah, but it's looking like they're already falling. It's just about, are they gonna put their hands out in the fall or the face?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
this is all contextually, obviously, to where we expect them to be with these changes. We're expecting them to be in top four, top five, consistently every single tournament and challenging,
mhm,
the Vitalities and Furias of titles, but they're not there.
yeah.
The more and more regressing into a Navi state.
Did you see though Donk's frustrations in that Mongols match?
Yeah,
I could
dude.
almost call the Mirage loss based on his frustrations. Like it wasn't even like he was playing bad because people are just gonna look at numbers and stats and go, "Oh, but look, Donk played well, bro." He was tilted, and I felt like what he was. He was tilted at his teammates because he's just thinking
Yeah.
like, "What are you doing? What is going on? Why are we making these mistakes?" Because he can't be everywhere. He can't just run the map and save everyone, especially against the way Mongols play as well. But this is a Mongols without Senzu.
Yeah.
This is bloody controllers, the 28-year-old young talent. I met him today, by the way. I'll talk about that a bit later. Good guy. Good guy. But yeah, that's enough harping on about Spirit. I will just say, here at Rivals, I don't care what happens to them. If they come last place, anything like that doesn't bother me. The major is I'm there's a heavy focus on them. A heavy focus on them. Now, to go from Spirit to Astralis, I did not expect them to be making playoffs. They did what Navi we thought Navi were gonna do. Yeah.
Yeah.
We thought Navi going to beat Astralis, then beat Mongols, and instead we got Astralis beating both of them. It was, it's not impressive. It's just better than expected.
I
Like
mean,
this is
it's a
this is a
huge,
good,
huge tournament for
it's
them.
a jump up, right, in top six. But I still see so many things where it just looks a bit like they're lost. It looks a bit like they're confused on what they should do next. I'm not sure if there is any doubt in players as well on their side. I just get the feeling that they're not all on the same page sometimes when I watch their games. When it's
Yeah,
working, it's beautiful, but sometimes they seem very disconnected.
I will say, if you look at this tournament, the only real match they were outclassed was against Falcons, who probably did one of the best group stages I've seen. Like, they looked insane. I thought they were
Yeah.
like in that group stage. When I watched them by the eye test, it almost looked like they were gonna win the tournament.
Yeah,
Um,
they look like champions.
they looked really good. But Astralis looked solid. I think, impressive win against, Navi, Mongols, and then obviously they made it close against Vitality. I don't think you should brace this off. I think it's a huge win for them considering they're like rank 14 in the world. They're slowly but surely kind of dropping off before this event. And yeah, it seems like more things are clicking, but I agree there are sometimes they do look lost. Sometimes they do look like they don't really know what's going on. Um,
Mhm.
but at the same time, y- you gotta praise them for making what is it, 56th? Yeah, 56th
56, yeah, they made playoffs.
in a really stacked tournament. I mean, if you just look at the teams that are behind them, it's equal Mongols behind Spirit, G2 Pain, Heroic, 3D Max, Face Navi. That's a good tournament from Australis. I think that's great. Nothing but props to give them. I don't expect them to be in a playoff situation in a tournament like this, and they made it. So, big thumbs up for me.
I think it's one where I will say it worked out in their favor. I'll give them some credit for the games they've won, but I still want to see more of how they go further. I'm still not sold on this because I've been bought into this before. I did it at Astana. I got very excited. I got very happy for the Astralis camp and thinking that something was going to be good. And this again is good, but I'm not going to just jump the gun this time. I'm going to slow down and be realistic. That's what I call it. Me trying
Yeah,
to be realistic.
I think you should. I think that's fair. But
because there was no player, yeah. It was very middling performances. There was no player to really stand out and carry or do some of the
I mean, honestly, if
big star
anyone, it was
plays.
Magisk.
Was it?
Magisk was probably
I
their
saw.
best player this event.
Let me have a look. Now you're making me want to check. Oh yeah, Yabi was still above him, but I think Magic's experience wise was working.
Yeah, but I think he's kind of stepped up. He's definitely showed some form, and I think that's a great sign. It's obviously disappointing that some of the other stars aren't really hitting the same mark. You know, when you look at it on paper, Magic should definitely be one of the worst players, but he's one of
Yeah,
the better players. So I think in that
but
regard, you can
that's
frame it like a
that's what I'm
disappointment in
looking
some.
at though. It's like Yabi, Device, Stair. We've seen what Stair can do. Stair was outperforming Yabi time and time again.
Yeah,
But Stair is too happy to do everything for the team and be the best teammate possible. And sometimes that can be a hindrance, you know?
yeah.
Sometimes that's actually not so positive.
Still progress.
Progress definitely. But I'll wait and see for the rest of it. That's what I'm gonna keep checking on. I don't want to be baited in again. Mongols still made playoffs, playing with
Yeah.
controllers. Honestly, I didn't think he was 28. That's the craziest thing I learned from all of this. In my life, when he came in, I thought this was going to be some young Mongolian talent that comes to come into the system and pop heads a little bit. But controllers had a what do you do? Let's have a look at his rating. So he went
You wanna know, like, a
1.06,
did you
only
know
9%
that he
above him.
played with Mara, the coach?
Wow. All that time ago.
Yeah.
It makes sense now why Mara's kept him. By the way, I had this confirmed. They will be playing with him not just at Blast Rivals, but the major as well. So controllers is in for the until the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think he deserves it, honestly.
Yep.
Obviously, there's a nerf put on Mongols, and that's not his fault. I think he's done, the best that he can. Kind of jumping
He
into
had some
this
great games.
place. You have to take the hat off for him, because yeah,
So
he
last
delivered.
minute. So
Yeah,
very last minute.
and we've
And
seen.
like, look at their games. They beat Heroic, Pain, Spirit, one we spoke about earlier. Losing to Furia, there's no shame in that. Obviously, Furia is a much more well drilled team, if you think of it that
Yeah,
way. But for a team that just made a change and had to have a last minute replacement in and they get fifth to sixth, like Mongols will be happy with that.
yeah.
Mongols will be
The
very
one
happy with
thing
that
I'll say, like
and still keeps them in a good spot.
910 is insane. Like, he is so much more above his teammates. It's actually crazy. And that's not only with the AWP. Like, he's playing rifles and he's just
Yep.
dominating people. And they don't really have like a star rifler except the AWPer right now. In some sense.
I
It's
was hoping
really.
Mazinho was going to step up. I was
Yeah,
hoping he was going to get some confidence back, especially after the Austin major, and we'd see him do it. Obviously, Senzu has his moments, but he was still very inconsistent. Despite how much we would praise him, but it's 9-10 is great until you get to playoffs. He's definitely still is not as strong in the playoff thing. There was
yeah.
a let me look down it now.
Yeah,
Like
088
nine
in
ten.
the playoff, and he was
Obviously,
destroying
they only play
people.
one game, but if I look at it right, if you just go and look at the matches he has,
Yeah.
and you
He had
say
like
do big
a
events
heroic
filter.
135 rating against Astralis, 143. Against
Yep.
Pain, he had a 103. And against Spirit, he had a 132.
See, that's huge. That's huge. So I actually think Mongols can cook for a little bit with this team. This
Yeah.
is not as bad as we thought it was going to be. And there has to be something said about that of whatever Blitz and Mara are doing, however they're making this all work, because that's not easy, man. Not
No.
easy to just replace Senzu like that and everything they had to go through, all the confusion that was had around this wild move. So a top six finish is actually pretty good considering everything they've been through.
Yeah, and it was impressive results. I mean, you can definitely see that they're not a title contender at the moment.
Hmm.
It's gonna take some time, but there's still hope there. There's still hope. But I'd probably put them in. Yeah, they're probably a top 5, 6 team in the world right now, even with controllers.
Now, coming on to Mao's, I'm going to hit you with this. So, Vitality play Mao's, right? And there's some fire in it still. This is still a great head to head to watch. It got exciting on the nuke, right? And the huge, huge comeback that Vitality had to make. But Spinks was, I actually, at one point during the 12 I thought maybe Spinks, if they win this, he could be like MVP level play. And then when it comes to playing Falcons, when it comes to playing Vitality, he was not the same kind of player. He was not able to get the same amount of work done. I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's an issue, but I will say, like, for Mal's right now to lose to Vitality and then play the third place decider, knowing you could have again had a chance of taking down Vitality going to the grand final, especially with how Train went, right? Um, After the fact that they lost Nuke in overtime. Mal still have some holes that really need to be fixed before the major. It's actually a blessing for this team that they don't have to play rivals. It's
but this
actually
is
good for
this is
them.
almost like, okay, if we look at this Mouse performance, I actually think that Mouse were probably the best team in the tournament. Um, and the reason they lost is essentially from choking. I rewatched
Mhm.
that nuke when they had
Oh, okay.
12-4, and I think the biggest
Was it
reason they
12-4? I thought it
lost,
was 11-4. It's even
no, it's
worse.
12
Oh,
12-4.
oh,
So they had a
oh.
12-4 lead, and they had money control at that point,
Mhm.
and they just stopped playing Counter Strike, man. Like literally, they just started waiting. It was almost like one guy tried to push solo to try to start something or get something going. They were
Yep.
continuously flanked because they were kind of grouping up and taking a lot of time, constantly countered by utility. Like it was unimaginable. It wasn't creative. They weren't in this kind of free flow mode, which they were in the previous rounds, where they took space. They were quick about it. They seemed set on an idea. It was almost like they were canceling calls back and forth, and changing things up, and they almost got scared. Um, and I think that's a bigger issue than how they played for the rest of the tournament, because you look at it, they
Yep.
beat Vitality, they beat Furia in this tournament, the two
Yep.
finalists of the tournament, and they probably
Yep.
should have been in the final instead of Vitality and going up against a Furia where they've already won against them in the tournament. But yeah,
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
Mouse looked really, really good until it came to like this crunch time where now they have
Yeah.
to win. And yeah, I feel almost a little bit sad because this is like a definition of a choke. It is them
Yeah.
stop it's they are being they're so scared of making a mistake or trying to control the game so well that they stop playing Counter-Strike altogether. I think it
Mhm.
was a sad T side to watch in some sense on that nuke.
But it got even sadder playing the Falcons for the third place decider, right? Because you get
That one
absolutely
I did
dumpstered on
not
Ancient.
watch.
Dude, we were watching that at a watch party. They got dumpstered on Ancient. Falcons could pretty much do whatever they wanted. Then the Inferno play comes in. Actually, 13-11 scoreline, and Mouse had to make a comeback into that, right? So they were down 8-4, and they put up a fantastic CT side. They believed in themselves. But then on Mirage, they also got dumpstered once again. It was a 10-2 CT side for Mouse, starting CT side.
Yeah.
So you got all the opportunity, all the gifts in there, and that's where I think, like, for Maus, if you had beaten Falcons or beaten Vitality here, it would have meant so much more for what their confidence is going to be like at the major. Because guess what? You are going to run into Vitality. You are going to run into Falcons probably at the major. It's more than likely. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
100%.
if
I
they
mean,
can't
especially
get
if they want to
over
reach their
this,
goals.
and if you can't get over this, it's going to be a huge problem. Like the head to head since Kioski's joined Falcons, Falcons have won every time. Sometimes three maps, sometimes just two, but Falcons just win.
But to be
Mouse
fair,
cannot
that
fight against this.
that was kind of what happened with Magic's as well. They were consistently winning against Mouse. If someone kind of stopped Mouse in the playoff, it would be Falcons or Vitality and nobody else.
Yep.
So
So they're still
it
in the same
seems like
position.
Falcons definitely knows how to kind of counter Mouse in some sense, or at least they're comfortable with their playstyle. But yeah, I thought it was a really like it's a weird one because they played really well Mouse until they
Mhm.
got to that nuke in the semis, and then just kind of shut down a bit.
Yeah. From Mals to Falcons, though. So Falcons did win against Mals. They took that third place decided. We just spoke about that. I'll give you this little tidbit. This is what I think, right? Furia Falcons matchup. You know how Vitality Mal's matchup is so heavily favored for Vitality? I feel like since we get Yakinda and Molodoy together, Falcon, sorry, just can't beat this team. Fallen can call whatever he wants. The players play incredibly confident against them. I don't care that some of the game will go to overtime. I don't care if it can be some close score lines. It actually seems like Fury just keep improving in the matchup. They
Yeah,
know that Inferno is a weakness. They know what they can get away with. And the style of play, like, they're not scared from any of the three heavy hitters of Falcons. Not Nico, not Munazi, not Kioski, no one.
no, and I mean I agree. I mean I think Furia for me, just watching them, they're just so good at adapting their T sides to making sure they're good against the opponent they're playing. It doesn't seem to be the same thing every time. They're more creative. They, and something they've obviously talked about in interviews and stuff where Yakinder sometimes can take over calling. Fallen, he's humble enough to let players give input and bring out ideas in these high pressure matches.
Yep.
Something that you gotta respect Fallen for because that can definitely throw an in-game leader off their kind of momentum as a caller. But yeah, I think that's also what makes them scary that they have multiple kind of people in the team who are willing to call and be creative, and that throws people off a lot in these sets of matches because you can do all the prep you want, but when a player kind of comes into it, sees a few patterns about how they've approached the things and finds a counter to it and applies it, they're going to be really thrown off because this we didn't
Yeah.
see this in the demo, we didn't see this in the prep, and I think yeah, that's what makes Furia strong. It is just that. I think them being creative, having the hard hitting players, and obviously the fearlessness of someone like Molodoy on the op is scary for anyone,
And
and
Quesadaro's back doing his bullshit again as
yeah,
well. He's
but
like, he doesn't need to have the craziest rating, but I watch him make some moves, yeah. And it's like if you would normally enter into this duel, yeah, it's not an advantage situation for him. It's not a good move for him. Like he is giving them an edge, but he's just reading it. He's just fighting into it. He's just shutting them down. And remember, Yuri had an eye infection for this game, so his
yeah,
left eye was like screwed. He went to hospital straight after, and he's still. I think he topped everything for that series, right?
yeah, against Falcons, yeah, 142.
Yeah, against Falcons. Yeah. While having like one eye, Yuri just dominating. I don't know if he had one eye, but he had an infection in his eye. It's not nice. It's not easy to deal with. And he's still just lighting everything up in there.
Yeah,
Still having
and
a wonderful time.
they're so comfortable in playing unorthodox Counter Strike. I feel like Falcons
Mhm.
or Furia because they have no problem leaving one anchor at the site and gambling on the other one and him getting impact when that happens. I think Yuri is a big part
Yep.
of that. Like you can leave him in a space alone, like on Inferno A site. He can just sit
Safe
there,
hands.
and you're gonna get some impact of him. It doesn't matter if four people are running against him. So
Yep.
I think that's a big strength of them that they have players who are comfortable when they switch things off or try to find solutions or find a way to win the round essentially because they know they're in a
Mhm.
position where if they leave 2-2 or whatever when they lose entry they're not going to win it. It's better that they kind of switch the setups up and post themselves in a stronger position on one side and weaker on another. And yeah, having someone like Yuri then is massive. I think they're just looking
But
better and better to me. every single
To
tournament I
finish
see
off
them.
the Falcons talk before we go on to Furia,
Yeah,
because obviously we'll talk a lot more about Furia, right? Monasty's still in great form.
yeah.
This is a really positive sign. We heard the clips during Pro League of him calling out rounds, saying more of what he wanted in a map and how he wanted to play out the round, giving insight to his teammates. But he's certainly back. And I know you mentioned earlier that like Shiro could be the top two AWPer. I do think it's now Zyru, Manasi, then Shiro. I see
Maybe
that.
if you have a
I
live
fully see
counter
that.
of right now, but I think if you look throughout the year, Mondesi has not had a
Throughout the
great
year,
year.
yeah, no, he had a bad year until now, but he's making such a comeback. And
Yeah,
obviously, Shiro's never going to grab MVPs because you got Donk on the team, you know? Um, so it's
and I think there
right
is
now,
even a
Manasi getting to his
case.
best.
There's even a case to be made that Mondesi might even be fourth this year if you look at Molodoi.
Oof, especially if he can keep this up, especially if they go
Yeah.
on a. Well, we'll come back onto that, but yeah, it's and by the way, Tess says I don't care about the numbers he has. He's starting to get more comfortable.
Mm.
He's starting to fit into this more. Um, I just hope he's not in his mind that like he feels pressure he could potentially be kicked from the team if he just doesn't get up to scratch quicker. I haven't read Kickstand's interview that came out. Did you read it yet?
No, I did not.
Okay, so we can't touch on that. But Kosuke playing well, Bonasi playing well, Nika had some good moments at the same time. I feel like this is disappointing for Falcons because this is the $5 million team. This is the super team being built together, but they're still holding strong. And it's just Furia are kryptonite for them right now. Furia are not an easy team for them to deal with.
But I think
Not
it's
at all.
also a little bit playoff with Falcons because they honestly looked so damn good in the group stage. They were destroying everyone. It looked like a walk in the park. And then they come
But
to
the only
playoff
one
and
who's
they
got that
don't
excuse is
really, I don't
it's
see the
only Kyosuke.
same.
It's only Kyosuke that should have that as a not good on playoffs, you know?
Yeah, but it's
Only
not
him.
only him. It's the whole team kind of drops off a little bit in these really big games. I think that's it's a problem. The eye test tells me they don't look the same. They don't have the same confidence going into it.
See, look at this line, by the way. Falcons have lost only 4 matches in the last 3 months, but they are yet to win the title with Kyosuke. And like, look at this. Some Kickstone said something is happening to us in these important games, and we've been working on it to fix it. I just saw Lars, by the way. I was sat with him on the plane, and we were having a good talk. There's nothing I can say on public, but he's with the team. He's working with the team, and he's got a plan to make ahead of all this. You know,
Yeah.
so he knows what works ahead of him, right? He knows what's expected of it all. Um, but they definitely struggle against Furia. Falcons are still title contenders, but it has to be on some really good circumstances. And like you said, if you get a group stage Falcons, it's epic. But everything else right now is still a little bit lacking in some crucial moments. But
Mm.
before we talk about Vitality or Furia, I just want to talk about the grand final. Yeah. So let's just talk the grand final. So Vitality tried to flip the switch. Vitality insta ban Ancient all the time. Yeah.
No,
Fury
they've
removes
never done
Nuke.
it against Furia though. Or last time they didn't do it against Furia.
No, that's what I'm saying. Right.
Yeah.
So look at this. Last time around, yeah, Vitality removed Train, but it's a best of three. So you still don't have to sit there and play Ancient. Vitality removed it on the second ban because both of them aren't particularly good at Ancient. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me just look because I was looking at the number stats on this, and I want to make sure I get it right because
I
I
don't
will
think
say
anyone has
that this
played it.
was 0 games played. Yeah. But Yakinda, Molodoi will definitely know how to play it pretty well. Fallen must have played it on no, because it'll be whole time on Furia. Can you look now quickly? Because I've just got the one laptop in front of me. Has
Oh.
Fallen played it when last, other than this game?
When he's played Ancient on Furia.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna use Skybox for
Because I
this.
think it wasn't on Furia.
And I will do this. Furia. Ancient. Well, the only public demo that comes up. Let's see here. Last time Fisher Playground won against Saw,
Okay.
where when Anubis was still in the map pool, Furia banned Anubis in Dust 2,
Yeah.
and that's it.
So then you come into this, right? And I don't know. He on the interview with on the stage after they won, he spoke about the ancient. He said sometimes you got to have big balls, right? Well, he had
Yeah.
the biggest fucking balls because you didn't just like you didn't just have it not banned. You had it picked by you in the first map.
Yeah.
So they
And
must
I
have done
think
some
it's
work on this, right? But
100%, but it's
if
also
you're
vitality.
vitality, you prepare to have that as the last map, right?
Yeah, but they probably didn't even prepare it. What is there to prepare? I mean, I mean, let's be honest. What is it to prepare? Are they going to look at, okay, last time we had a different map pool, Furia played it once when Saw picked it. Are they going to look at
Hmm.
that map and like, oh, they probably play like this? I don't even think they put it into consideration. I think they were just looking at the last time they played. We left it open. They didn't pick it, so let's do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Um, and if it comes to ancient, in the end, let's figure it out then. Team talk 10 minutes before the ancient comes up.
Yeah. Not first map going straight into it.
No, so
And
I think
do you know what I
it's
remember?
yeah,
There's a YouTube video from Face It, yeah, where Zyru's on a team against some of the FaZe players, and Zyru at the time they're asking him like, "Do you know smokes?" These like high level 10 players, and he's like, "I don't know anything." He's like, "I'll just like fill the gaps," because they were
yeah,
asking him like, "Where do you play? What do you?" And he just had some very basics down. So this is a real just wild curveball, and it probably put way more pressure onto Vitality than it would Furia. The fact that Furia were able to do this.
yeah. No, and I mean, good on them. I think that's the right thing to do.
It, how much of a risk do you think it is when you're as experienced as Fallen and confident with your players?
How much of a risk it is? I mean, it's a big risk.
Mm,
Um, but at the same time, you know that this is probably going to be a map where whoever gets, the momentum, the pistols going, is the one that is going to kind of run this game down. And we could see it on
mm-hmm.
Ancient. There's a lot of like long strings of rounds because teams don't really have the ways of adapting as good because they're not used to what to do in these situations to adapt in the perfect way, the timings of everything.
Yep.
So you would see, four, five, six, 5 rounds in continuation throughout the map. And I think if you prepare, you can kind of kickstart your momentum in that sense where okay, these are the rounds that we're going to do. Let's make sure that we know them well just before a grand final like this. Just sit on the server for an hour and kind of sketch that up, and that's probably the advantage that got them through to the win, where they picked up the first pistol and put pressure on Vitality instantly, and had a great T side of 8 rounds. Unfortunately, they got kind of momentum on their momentum themselves when Vitality
Yep.
switched to the T side, but they managed to figure things out and close it. And I think it's a big ballsy play. It was great. It was an exciting final, and Furia. I think they have a resilience in these games that you can see it on their body language and everything. They're never really frustrated. They're never really in a position where they stop believing. And they know they can fight back, and they believe in their kind of individual ability, but also have the backing of Fallen as a caller. I just think they overall it looks great. Loved what I was seeing from them, even on Ancient.
And even going on to Inferno, I thought, okay, yep, Vitality can just shake off. It's ancient, no problem. They go into Inferno, they're up 5-0, you know? Look like they have full control. And it was the clutches that were winning out for Furia. It was the opening kills as well. Even when Flamesy was having some moments of like, he was insane on B of just pulling off multi kills when he should have never been able to get him, almost saving him. But then still, like, there was a round he got 3 kills, yeah, on B, and they still lost the round.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, he can't do any more. And Rops, by the way, they played Rops so well. Furia were everywhere. Every time Rops wanted to make some timing push, there was someone lurking around, like almost understanding exactly what he wanted to do every round. You know,
Yeah, I
they were
think
ahead of Rops every step of the way.
yeah, and that's what I think about Furia when they're, adapting. They're adapting to their opponents. They're leaving either Molodoy or Yuri or whatever. Make sure this guy does not come behind us through CT, and they
Yeah,
stay to that position. There was even executes, rolling in. There was kills happening, and they wouldn't even flinch on that A site. They were looking for Rops to be dead before the retake even would start. So
and they were
big
making
credit.
no noise.
Yeah,
No noise, right? So you know sometimes when that happens, all the action goes down. You wait a bit for the CT to maybe start rotating, but Rops is a slow rotator, right? So he's
yeah,
checking every corner. He's not just rushing into it. And they were playing the same way. They were not trying to rush out then and take some space or get a quick kill here, maybe with someone's moving around. No, it was all focused on Rops, and he was hard countered. He was completely hard countered.
yeah. I think just a great game plan. But overall, like this Inferno is super impressive for me from Furia because
Yep.
they are in a really shitty situation to start with. Looked like Vitality is
Yeah.
gonna run down and just take this map easy peasy. Um,
Yep.
but that's where their T sides kind of come in, and they did the same thing back to Vitality that Vitality threw at them, and they did it a little bit better. Um,
Yeah.
and I think I'm kind of jumping points here, back and forth, but
Hmm.
I'm just getting reminded by it. It's I think it's all about the adaptations. They're willing to, do something risky, willing to do something unorthodox, willing to switch up the patterns and do
Yeah.
something a little bit more crazy than other teams do. I think that is what makes Furia so good, is that anything can happen. They can play a really slow round. They can have one guy fake on B and just walk out apartments. They can, just straight up walk into B from banana after the nades. They can boost Molodoy on the wood. Like there's so
Oh,
many
multiple times.
small
Multiple
things they
times.
do, yeah, that just gives them a little bit of an edge, because
Yeah.
they are creative in that sense, and
Mousepad
it's
finally fell down.
super super fun to watch. So the mousepad only lasted like 45 minutes an hour on the wall.
We're 1 hour 24 minutes into it, so 1 hour and 10 minutes of staying up there. That's pretty impressive. I'll take that as a win.
That's pretty good.
You see, that is completely vertical on a glass surface. So
Yeah,
good luck moving it when it's down as it's supposed to be. Proof is in the pudding. Um, and proof is in the pudding, by the way, of Fallen has proven so many people wrong, and he's done it in such an impressive fashion.
yeah,
Like, come onto this overpass, yeah. Look at the start Vitality had. They lost pistol, then they went on this streak of rounds. And if it wasn't for those last few rounds at the end, yeah. Also, Vitality was winning in the clutches, winning in some key moments, and yet, but do you remember with that Apex clutch on? Oh, where was it? When one player pushed him from long, one player from CT, and I think one from bank as well, and he got all three of them. And even Apex couldn't believe it. And at that point, I was like, okay, this is over. Like they're definitely winning overpass. And Vitality must have felt like that as well. But you know, Furia, they were like the amount of times Molodoy would push long and they weren't ready for it, they weren't expecting it. And it was always at like not strange timings, but if something else was happening on the map, yeah, they were just perfectly moving around each other. I felt like the control they had and the space they had as Furia was just suffocating Vitality. And guess what? You please tell me if I'm wrong, because You're way smarter than me on this. But it felt like Vitality was scared to fight them because they were winning the important duels. And even if a player went down, Fury was still pushing another man in, fighting a bit more.
I mean, it definitely wasn't like a normal Vitality playground where all the individuals
No.
could take the space that they wanted. So there's the fear aspect of Molodoy and how they kind of run him as an AWPer definitely impacts them because he's
Mhm.
winning duels against Saivu. He is consistently changing his positions up, the way he approaches things, and he's relentless at it. And he's very successful at it as well. You know, he's not just
Yeah.
putting himself in a position and and kind of I don't know, how some operas they will maybe run down con, they'll peak, and they'll just leave after 2 seconds. What
Yeah.
Molodoy does is like he puts himself in the position and he won't leave until he succeeds. Then he will leave.
Yeah.
He will get the frag and leave. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it takes 40 seconds until they actually come at him. He will get the success and not kind of cancel out and be scared to be in an awkward position. And I love that about him. And I think that kind of sets fear into any team that you play because you have such a good AWPer. I mean, his flicks are really, really nice. It almost
Yeah.
feels like he's never going to miss a shot.
So smooth with it. And by the way, we've credited a lot of this to so many different players on Furia. We haven't spoke about Yukinda, who gave me one of his, I'll say, VP classic overpass performances. If anyone remembers Yukinda back then, he was a monster of just solo fighting, entering, getting the kills you need, doing all the dirty work you wanted. He had a 2.02 rating on the overpass T side.
Yeah.
And by the way, Yakinda, your time on Liquid doesn't count. You are officially back. This is beautiful stuff. Also, while you are mentoring slash translating slash helping a young player in Molodoi shine and come up, like people have to think it's not even about the numbers. It's about all the other things that he's doing and the micromanaging that you can see coming into it. Obviously, Molodoi is also improving, right? Probably needs
Yep.
less help now as well. But Yakinda is he's on it. He's on it and doing it so well. And by the way, this is the biggest win for everyone on that team, obviously, except for Fallen. So finally, because if we look at this, right? Let me bring up
I mean,
the trophy
Kesurat and
cabinet for someone like
Juro's
Yuri.
career has been dry
Eh.
in
Yeah,
terms
like
of
look at
wins.
this. Pro League North America during COVID, that's not a good event. DreamHack North America, it's just you winning in North America. Then obviously they had that Elisa Masters Espo, which was okay, but it's very low ranked teams there. Then you get Fissure Playground 2. We start to take notice, right? But still, not the strongest competition there. We have to be honest. Then Thunder Pick, okay. It's not bad competition, but still not the most elite. But Chengdu, like look at the team. Let's just look at the teams they beat, right? Lin Vision, G2, lost to Mouse, beat Mongols, beat Falcons, beat Vitality. Someone tweeted me, just some guy following me, said, like, oh, it's not really S tier if you look at who they beat. They destroyed everyone without dropping a map, and they only dropped 2 maps to Mouse who they lost to. They
Yep.
started from the quarters. They had to play all these playoff games. They beat Mongols, they beat Falcons, they beat Vitality without dropping a map. That is S tier. That is a god run. Chengdu was stacked. And this is now, like we said about they were a potential team, like a dark horse to win the major. Now they are officially in title contenders position. I am
They
putting the
they're they're
Vitality, the
they're in top
Falcons,
two
the
of.
Maus, the Furia right now as the 4 front runners to lift that trophy
I think there's a case
in
where I
Budapest.
wouldn't even, you know, bat an eye at someone who said that Furia is their favorite to win the major. I think that's reasonable conversation to have. So I'm definitely with you that this is not like a fluke win. There's nothing about it. They are one of the best teams, if not the best team in the world right now. Um,
Mhm.
and they have so many good ingredients, like everything from like older players. Even Fallen is fragging out some games, and he's doing all the things that are important for for an in-game leader and a supportive player to do. Like, and he's good in all situations, even when they like sometimes pick up a double op, or he can fill those roles in and find the balance and be whatever they need him to be in whatever round.
Yep.
If they lose the upper, he can op. If they lose the entry, he will entry. If his entry needs flashes, he will do that. So he's kind of like a jack of all
And
trades
he's
in
got
that
so much knowledge.
yeah.
So
Um,
much knowledge, you know?
and it's a really big strength of theirs to have someone on the in-game leading position who can do all of these
Yeah.
different things and do it at a high level.
And also, we didn't even talk about this. And I know this just sounds like we're like fucking overhyping Furia, but in all these very close games against Vitality, who would normally against any teams win out the close games, it doesn't matter that they're not in their best streak or their best form right now for Vitality. The mentality Furia had never changed. There was no giving up. You saw frustration on Molodoi, yeah? And I told you guys many times on this podcast, when I speak to him, even after they've won games, he's like, I could have done better because he's always wanting to improve. But he's not affecting his team. But also, he was loving the crowd some more. He's
Yeah.
getting into it some more. He said, I was talking to him on Instagram DMs. He was saying that like a lot of the Chinese fans really giving him like so much love as well. Obviously, I already mentioned the Chinese nickname he has, for example. Um, he's the truth. And I think I saw
It's the
Foreign's tweet
truth.
and he said, I think Foreign said like he can be one of the greatest AWPers of all time if he keeps this up. And
Yeah.
just some people said, oh, he needs to go to a better team. You are so wrong and delusional if you think he can go to he would have maybe not even had a chance of getting his potential seen so quickly if he was on another team. Like people think, oh, if you took Moldo and put him in phase,
What do you
that
mean
he'd win
better
more.
team?
Like that,
Who says that?
but that's I've
The,
seen
the
comments,
only
I've read
team that you could
comments,
arguably say is better is Vitality.
but that's because people are under. People think like still,
The
Yakinda's
hell?
washed, Case Wright and Yuri are old, Fallen's not playing well, you know.
It's all the Liquid fans coming out.
Hey, Liquid fans, they that's a whole different kettle of fish to go through. But to quickly touch on Vitality,
Yep.
this is disappointing and will hurt them, but it's still a grand final appearance again. Yeah. It's still a strong overall tournament performance. They still put themselves, as always, being a chance of getting the trophies. Being 3-0'd is a problem that they can look at. And obviously, they won't have much time, same as Furia, to do anything or fix anything going into Last Rivals, which is happening in just a couple of days.
Yeah, I mean
So,
they're not the same vitality we saw at the start of the year. That's obvious, but they
yeah.
still have that kind of grit to kind of keep going and keep reversing, even if they have a really bad start. They have the kind of mentality where they can switch it up and kind of get that train going for them and start to pick up wins. We saw it, especially against Mouse, but there was a couple of moments against Vitality, and like throughout the tournament, they were putting themselves in the really bad positions early, and then they kind of shaped up and kind of grinded their way. It's just you want to see that from the start. You want to see a little bit more from them, if they want to kind of claim the title of best team of all time, which is looking more and more
Hmm.
unlikely to some degree. But
Yeah.
they're definitely still, if you're a Vitality fan, I don't think you have anything to worry about per se. I think now they're gonna grind their way up and they're gonna do better. And I'm sure that every single player in this team is hungry to do better for the major.
Yep.
But to some degree, they're looking a little bit better than they were before. But they're
Yeah.
definitely not the same as last season.
And look at this, right? If we look at MVP, that's his second MVP for Molodoi this year.
Yep, that's insane.
Already. He's leveling up. Munsey had one at ESL Pro League. Munsey had a better overall individual rating, but didn't go far enough in the tournament. He would have needed to be in the grand final and do really well there to have a chance of getting it. But how we've said now, probably for 4 or 5 months, that Molodoi is rookie of the year. This is now not even, no one's close. No one, even with someone winning a major and
Honestly,
getting MVP, won't beat him. It's not possible.
yeah. I I don't even remember. It felt like you said Molodov has potential being rookie of the year, like almost the first tournament you saw him. But
After a starter.
yeah,
Yeah, probably did. I was very hyped up on the Molodoi gas then.
Ah,
But
well, good.
it's easier,
It's
when
fair.
I've got a relationship with a player and I'm talking to them in DMs and stuff, right? And they're being more open with me, then I get a feel for also, because this is why I'm so much on the mentality is like when he's talking to me in person at an event and on DMs, I'm getting his character. And he
Yeah.
has the right character, right attitude, and the right people around him as well, which is making all of this very exciting, very possible. And yeah, like I said, he's the truth. This is really good. But that's enough on Chengdu. Chengdu overall, crowd was banging. It was epic. China always shows up anyway, so that was dope. For Fallen, 3,018 days it was since his last IEM Grand Final appearance. He won that back with SK. He gets to do it again now with Furia. Um, he gets to give such a big trophy to all these players on his team that didn't even have a chance of getting it before on their other teams. Um, this is just a huge pickup.
The
Should
only
we? Because
thing we
we
didn't
skipped something.
mention was
Predictions.
our predictions. That should we just do this quickly?
Yeah, go on then.
Banks
So
won
Tyloo
this one.
Falcons, of course. I always win predictions. Not
Uh,
always. That's wrong. We should actually
Well,
start tallying at the end of the year show. We'll get all our predictions and see who was most right.
okay, I
The
have to
genius
stop with my
devil
ballsy
or
ones.
the philosopher Banks. The psychological mental person Banks. So Tyloo Falcons, we both said Falcons. Tick tick. Furial Envision both said Furia. Tick tick. Mouse Phase both said Mouse. Tick tick. Vitality VP. Vitality. Tick tick. Mongols Heroic. You said Heroic. You really believe that Mongols were going to struggle. I still stuck with Mongols. I got the win. G2 3D Max. We both got it right. G2. Pain Spirit. We both said Spirit. Then we both said Navi winning against Astras. Well, that didn't happen. And we both said overall winner Vitality. They made it to the grand final. So, eh,
That was
you
decent.
know, it's not bad. It's not bad if you're following our predictions. Never blame us if you have this situation of following us and then blaming it on the. My brain just went then, bro. I'm tired. I'm
Uh,
still
let's just
struggling with
move
this
on.
time zone
That
stuff.
was our predictions.
Oh,
Let's
sorry.
move on to
What?
some
One more
recent.
thing.
Okay.
One more thing. I just looking at this from HLTV. Yeah, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 best of five finals that Fallen's competed in. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many do you think he's won?
14.
Exactly. He won 14, only losing to Fnatic back on Luminosity in Katowice 2016. He is a master of best of fives. 14 out of 15 for best of fives, dude. That's nuts.
I will say I did not know the stats beforehand. I just guessed that.
You nailed it. You actually nailed it. We'll get into our news part of the All About Counter Strike podcast, though. We'll go over some of the couple of things that have been happening. And let's start with someone who I got a lot of time for, a lot of love for. I've been talking to this guy for many years. Taz, he said that he is open for offers. He has no agent or no anything, and he is looking to get back into coaching. To
Yeah.
read the tweet out completely, as it just loads here. It says seasoned end means new adventures. I'm ready for the next challenge as a CS2 coach. I don't have an agent and can't control the outside narrative, which obviously some of the outside narrative is a little bit wrong. But I know that I can help any team in the world get to new heights. I am no stranger to scouting players, coaching staff, or building team structure and cohesion. Also, my vibes are unmatched. I completely agree. In 2025, 2024, I started my journey as a coach. I was fortunate to work with incredibly talented individuals and secured 3 championships plus multiple top 4 finishes, even in challenging circumstances. Obviously, losing players, sometimes players will be going somewhere when then they come back to the team, all that stuff he went through. Now I'm ready and more eager than ever to share my knowledge further. Reach out via DM if you want to build something great. Don't let the outside noise stop you from becoming the best team in the world. And I agree with that. I think Taz still has a lot to offer. Obviously, everyone just heard a few clips that were played on broadcast and they're like, oh, he's such a bad coach. This is a guy who's played now for 23, 24 years. He has won majors. He has won the biggest tournaments. He has had moments. He has had moments where it's shown of the humility he has as a person and what he can deliver to teams. And what he went through on G2 was like people not believing in snacks, Nico leaving, but then not leaving, um, looking for players, trying to find solutions. He went through so much, but they still walked away with some trophies. And yes, people can say, well, you got Manasi, you got Nico, you should have done better, right? But he did a good job, and his CV is impressive. You can't fault that. That speaks for itself,
No,
in
I
my
think
eyes.
it's crazy. People are even questioning his experience. You know,
Yeah.
this is someone that I even remember like one of my first like professional games on LAN was against the old like Golden Five, and winning that
Yeah.
felt like a dream. This guy is a complete legend of the game. He's been through every single situation you could possibly imagine, and you know it does not matter if you've been a pro and played in top teams for 2 3 years. It will never ever be close to the amount of experience this guy has and what he could offer.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt in my mind that he would be a good thing for any team in the world out there to bring in,
Hmm.
no matter if he might from the outside world look at it, like people look at it sometimes that maybe he values the vibe and the cohesion and teammate synergy like in relationship basis a little bit more than some of these stone cold killers like Blade. But
Yeah.
that's not a bad thing. I think one of the biggest things as a Counter-Strike player is to be able to be creative and to trust yourself and have the trust of the teammates is an important aspect of that. And no, I have no doubt in my mind he brings value to any teams he would join. I think he's someone that any team out there should look out for and hire.
Yeah. Definitely. I think he should get picked up pretty soon. I don't think it's going
Yeah.
to be too far off. Um, So, the next thing I want to look at is the Hall of Fame. It's the HLTV One Expect Hall of Fame for 2025. This will be done in January when we go to the HLTV Awards again in Serbia, in Belgrade. The players that got chosen, the nominated ones: Kogu from Brazil, Dupree, Denmark, Element, Norway, Fraud, America, Kenny S, France, K Sharp, America, Markelov, Ukraine, Olaf Meister, Sweden, Spawn, Sweden, Executor from Norway as well. Um, there's a panel, right? The panel that who's it on the panel? Here we go. So the panel who all get to vote on this is Sponge, Blair, GF Midway, who is a legendary commentator from the 1.6 days, Jason Lake, Moses, Miss Harvey, one of the highest and best performing female players that we ever had, Rogue MN, who's a journalist, Lucas AM as well, another journalist, Nomad, Mirror, and Potty himself is also on there. Now, obviously, last year we had Heaton, Potty, Get Right, and Forest, and they all got not just inducted into the Hall of Fame, they got a Rolex for their service. They got to talk a little bit as well, and everything they've done for the game. This one, I'm not sure I fully agree with the panel on this one. Um,
Which one do you
on
don't
all of
agree
their
with?
selections, I would
Well,
just say that the Olaf one could come a bit later. I agree he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I feel like how I would see a Hall of Fame is you would induct maybe some of the older ones now, you know, and come back into it with the modern ones. Like they did Kogu, by the way. Kogu cannot be doubted. If anyone was watching back in the 1.6 days, Kogu actually had a longer career than most people thought. Um, I met him not too long ago. I think it was back at one of the majors he was attending. Um, but he was like the original Brazilian star AWPer.
yeah.
He was phenomenal. Markloff, obviously, he was the star AWPer. He never really adjusted to CS:GO, but in
Well, he
1.6, he
didn't
was
play
everything.
open in CS:GO, I think, or maybe he did at
Yeah,
one
because
point.
but he hated it, right? He was completely against it.
Yeah, but one of the
Yeah, there we go. It says even
most
in here, he wasn't able to keep his AWPing brilliance to CS:GO.
in 1.6 he was the best player in like the best AWPer in
The
the
end.
game by far. Like he was
Yeah.
so calculative, and I think he was one of the best AWPers in terms of when they were playing to kind of abuse rotations and just get people into his crosshair. But he
Mhm.
could in that game he could essentially 1v5. He was so damn good. And yeah, unbelievable player, unbelievable.
Yeah. So these two I completely agree with. And I do agree that Olaf should be in the Hall of Fame, but I feel like he was still active, a bit sooner. Like I'm very biased, but I wanted and was expecting to see this year Spawn get put in. Like at some point he has to go in. Because if they're just gonna keep adding new names and bypassing some of the older legends, like if I'm looking at some of these names here, right? Element 100% would have to be in there at some point. Like what he did at the beginning of CS, in terms of being a leader, the teams he had success with, every team he touched was basically successful.
I get
Spawn,
it,
there was
but I
nothing
think
like him.
I think they've kind of argued that they want to bring in people from different eras at the same time.
Mhm.
So we kind of have, like the very, very start of Kugu. You have kind of the middle ground in
Well, Kogu was
1.6
kind of
of
across all of it,
Markelov.
right? So he had the
And
1.6 to
yeah,
even later
and
CS:GO.
now since CSGO is still kind of down, I guess, in
Yep.
some sense, it's now an old game. It makes sense to also a lot of the talents and a lot of the players, they will remember the oldest ones and kind of the middle-ish ones. But if you look at the fan base ones, the current fan base, they probably are
Yeah.
looking more at someone like Olaf compared to a Markelov.
Yeah, this is true. And I would say this as well. If people are not aware of the ability of a player like Markov in 1.6, just go on YouTube and type that
Unbelievable.
in. Go and watch some of the Spawn movies as well. Like Spawn came up after your Heatons and your Potties and he changed the game. He was such a different style of player and he was so consistent. He was like he was the next breed of superstar. And the only thing I would have that's bad on Spawn is just the end of his career when he could have stopped and he kept trying to go and just was like, remember that HQK lineup he was on for a while?
Yep.
Um, these kind of things wasn't as good. That's when it did start to slow down. But he
But
came
there's
into that
plenty
team
of
of legends. He was a
legends.
young player. I
Yep.
know, I know.
But
I'm
they'll
just
get
biased. This
their
is
they'll
my
get
biased take on it.
their spotlight. I'm sure of that. But I still think these are three players that definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
But I see your point, but I still kind of like that they're not just going it from the oldest first
Yeah.
category.
Well, it's just done by voting. So obviously everyone agreed on this, right? They
Yeah,
between all of them, this is how it worked out as the best between all those people with all different experiences and different backgrounds. They all came to agree on this selection. But I'm very happy for Kogu because obviously everyone talks about Fallen being for so long of like the godfather of Brazil as of now, but Kogu's work can never be ignored.
no.
Definitely can never be ignored. Was there anything else in news we needed to touch on?
I mean, we can
I'm
briefly
just
bring
looking
up
down here.
eyeballers win Red Bull giveaway tournament. Huge win.
I didn't see any of this. I just know that Simple's team, BC Game, didn't do good.
Yeah, they came ninth to
BC Game,
12th in a 24 team
bro,
tournament.
ninth to 12th when you've got Masonic, Ents, Ascend, Alliance, Metasport, and AM, Sashi above you is kind of crazy.
It's kind of bad, yeah. Um,
It's kind of bad.
but Sweden, let's go.
Sweden's getting back on top for $5,000 first prize. But again, for this, by the way, this is so important for VRS points for these
Yeah,
guys, you know?
because there's a
I don't know
lot
if
of
it's been
games.
updated right now.
If you looked even at the group stage, it was 5 games,
One,
5 LAN
two,
games
three, four,
instantly in the
five,
group.
6, 7, 8 games. 8 games they
Yeah,
played. All on LAN. All
that's
on HLTV
great
LAN.
for VRS. Fill in those buckets.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
great win for them. I'm obviously gonna be at well, maybe I shouldn't say this yet, so I'll skip. But it's a small
Well, now people can just basically guess what you're going to be doing, but okay.
no.
Anyone who knows knows.
I've not said anything. Either way, uh, exciting for Swedish Counter Strike to win a tournament again.
Yeah, and if you look at it in the comparison of Eyeballers' current level and the competition they were going up against, this is pretty good for
It's
them.
pretty
This is
good.
a solid run
No,
on a
they're
LAN as
moving up.
well.
They're moving up. I think before, we had Swedish teams, they were barely making it to top 50, like maybe touching it
Mhm.
every once in a while. But I think the eyeballs are actually on the up. They've obviously beat like BC game recently.
Yep.
Even on the online stages, they recently also lost to them. But they're still getting better and better and getting more consistent results over time. So that's good.
The two disappointing teams for me is obviously BC Game and Inner Circle because BC Game obviously because they have simple electronics. By the way, doesn't look like he's so comfortable in what he's doing in that team just yet, but it's obviously very new. But at least we got to see simple on LAN again. But Inner Circle obviously they
From 9th to
had
12th
us
in tier
interested.
1 tournaments to 9th to 12th in Åre in Sweden.
Yeah, of 13th, 16th Inner Circle went. So
Oh,
yeah, it's just kind of I expected more from them, considering how well we were praising some of their moments during Pro League. All right, so last thing to talk about then, before we get to Q&A, is the Blast Rivals Season 2 preview.
yep.
So Blast Rivals is taking place in Hong Kong. That's where I'm at right now. Um, Hong Kong, I have not got to explore any of it because I came to the hotel, went to a shop, and that's it. But it's a lot warmer, which is quite nice. It's got a better temperature. So far, I'm definitely enjoying that. It's only an 8-team tournament, $350,000 prize pool. Doesn't show any of the club share here or anything like that. So I guess it's just all prize pool. It's got the wild card invites. Now, Blast got an exception because normally you have to have multiple tournaments, 3 or 4 tournaments, and you can then have the wild card tournament. But Blast got an exception from Valve, so they only could do it. They have 2 tournaments, then they can have a wild card one. So for VRS, it's actually Spirit, Vitality, Fury, and Mongols who are invited. The wild card invite for EU was Falcons, so lucky Falcons, obviously, especially considering it's got Monasi and Nico, and we're in Asia. Tons of fans. By the way, I even landed today, and there was fans at the airport waiting for everyone. So it was pretty packed. Pain got the South American one, so that's quite a high-ranking team anyway. Good stuff. Wildcard invite for Asia. Mongols already here, so you're definitely going to invite Tyloo next. So that's a win. And then NA was Passion UA.
All right.
So this is an interesting one. I don't think it's going to be a Thunder pick where like 100% the Pain, Tyloo, Passion of the world is going to be like having no success. I can see them getting a game or something. Um, it's going to be group stages. Then we're going into the playoffs, quarters, into semis. Let me see. Just double check this. So the winner of the upper final, yeah, winner advances to the playoff semis, and the losing team proceeds to the quarterfinals. I'm just gonna say this: even if Blast hire me, and I like working with Blast, we gotta stop this, man. I want everyone starting from the corners. I know quarters. I know it's an extra day needed and stuff, but there's got to be a way to just schedule this better because I don't like it when a team starts from the semis. I want it all quarters, nice elimination bracket going.
Yeah.
I just
Well,
think we're in a position where we can have that and should have that now.
I agree on, but we will keep talking about this every single episode if because there's always a
Oh,
tournament
bro, I
like
know.
this.
Yeah, well, just had Chengdu like this as well. And also, there's no third place decider, so it's the same thing as that at the same time. I'll just tell you this. I heard that it is definitely sold out for all of Saturday and Sunday. I think Friday is either close or is sold out now. So the arena is going to be epic. I can't wait to be back on stage again. I'm still finished off all my recovery now, so we're going to bring the hype in a big way. Opening matchups. So if we look down the opening matchups, we've got Mongols, Passion UA, Spirit Falcons, Furia Pain, Vitality Tyloo. I feel like Furia, Falcons, and Vitality can look at this, feel pretty confident, but they shouldn't get overconfident with this. Um, I feel like Spirit were going to have a point to prove or want to prove a point. At least they would have been able to go home and practice from Chengdu to now. Yeah. So that can benefit them. Um, poor Tyloo get Vitality in the first opening game as well. That's kind of rough.
Yeah, it
Do you think it's
definitely
do you
is.
think it's just as is it another Furia tournament win? Do they keep that momentum
I mean,
going?
let's go
Do
through
they
our
even make the
predictions we
final?
sent to our producer. So we had the opening
Okay, go on then.
games. We have
Yep.
Mongols Passions. I put Mongols
And you
here.
said I put Mongols as well.
All right. We have Spirit Falcons. I put Falcons.
I put Falcons as well. God damn it. We're not telling each other and we're still choosing the same.
Yeah, but I mean, I
Fury of
think these are
Pain.
pretty obvious. Fury is gonna win that one.
I think Pain will be able to get a map. I think a bit of that domestic derby there you should be capable of taking a
Okay,
map.
but Fury are winning.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Vitality, Tyloo. I
Vitality
still
Solu.
put Vitality. I mean, I think this tournament we probably didn't even need to do this, but
Yeah,
I
we just do
think
it every time for everyone else.
the overall winner is maybe the more exciting one in our prediction. And I
Where did you
put
go?
Furia. I believe in them. I think they're going to be hungry to continue. I see almost on your reaction that you put Fury as well.
I actually chose Vitality first and
Oh,
changed it to Furia.
okay.
So I will do this. I will stick with my first pick of Vitality.
Just to
Yeah.
make it interesting.
Not just to make it interesting, because I should stick to my guns and not be a pussy.
All right.
It's just, when we were talking about Fury a lot, I was like, oh yeah, going back to, but Vitality are good at bouncing back. And I said Vitality were going to win Chengdu. It didn't happen. Now they're adjusted. Now they're over. Now they're ready. Now they've already faced Fury. They know what's happened. Apex is going to be fired up. See, look, I'm talking myself into
Now,
this way of it all.
I mean, the interesting thing about this tournament, and especially with those predictions, is that
Yep.
we have Fury and Vitality. They're in the same group. So one of them
Mm-hmm.
might go into a lower bracket run, which would essentially maybe even send them to wait, how many are actually making playoff? No, they're both making
Six.
playoff.
Six.
Okay,
So
so they will skip
only
each
team.
other. They will skip
Yeah.
each other no
Until
matter what in
final.
the playoff, right?
Yeah. Until the final, they would skip each other. Yeah. So think of this:
Unless they
if
get
Vitality or
third.
Fury win, yeah. But looking at who they've got, Payne and Tyloo, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
they're
it's
not
not.
going third.
No.
And please, Tyloo, do this for everyone. Do this for the community of your Chinese Counter Strike and Hong Kong Counter Strike, because they want you in an arena. This is your best chance, because 6 out of 8 teams are going to the arena. You got to be Pain, boys. You got to lock in. You got to find a way. You got to get it done. Play like you did back at Fissure and get yourself into a good position.
I think
Do
you
that
you need to
for
tell Yi
being able
there's
to play on
no ice
stage.
cream unless there's playoff.
I might have to tell him there's no ice cream ever in his entire life unless he gets
Yeah.
playoff. Like, I'm removing it from the world for him. Sounds very harsh, doesn't it? But we need to motivate this guy. We need to motivate the whole team.
So yeah.
Um,
But I
who do you,
think
so yeah, Fury and Vitality, I think, are making it to the upper final. I think in a best of three, though, yeah, I reckon Vitality might grab the semi spot.
I think that's not unlikely
I can see that.
at all.
Yeah.
But I think that it might even be an advantage for Furia, get more reps, get more games. I don't think they should be scared of out of any other
They did it already at Chengdu.
competition. Yeah.
Lost to
So
Mouse, went quarters, still chill.
I don't think necessarily the like upper final in the group does like is gonna represent who has a better chance or not at a final. I think
Yep.
it's going to be pretty relaxed. I think it's more about waiting who gets to play in the playoff or whatever. So yeah, I don't really put that much weight on it, and I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward tournament. I don't expect many results to kind of flip. You know, um,
Hmm.
I like the most reasonable thing that I could see happening, where we see something crazy happening, would be if Passions win against Mongols and Falcons win against Spirit and Mongols beat Spirit in the lower final.
Oh,
That's
oh,
like where
oh.
any spies I could reasonably get out of this would happen.
Yeah, yeah. And Passion have been grinding, man. Passion have been grinding.
Yeah, but that's what I could see potentially
Okay,
happening.
okay.
Otherwise, it's pretty
I
locked
like
in
that.
for me.
Okay. So who do you think is going semis in Group A then? Because we were just done Group B. Falcons?
Semis, Falcons 100%. Like, no doubt in
Okay.
my mind.
And Falcons and Spirit, or they already played recently, right?
Yeah, yeah. Falcons beat Spirit, I think. Or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Chengdu 2-0.
yeah.
Overtime Ancient smashed them on Dust 2. So yeah, this is a spicy opening matchup for have a repeat that quickly. And actually Falcons would have not had much time to practice where Spirit have. Not
Yeah,
much
but
time, but
but
some time in
Falcons,
comparison.
especially in the group stage, they looked so ridiculously good that I expect them to
Yeah.
kind of have the same flow going into this group stage. And we will just see
Mm-hmm.
once they get into playoff how they've adjusted. Maybe they've made some mental kind of shifts and been able
Mm-hmm.
to kind of respond a little bit better into a playoff game. Good practice for them coming into a
Yeah.
major. But yeah, I think generally it's a straightforward tournament. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's less teams as well,
Yeah.
so less randomness with it. It's just where it's at. But it'll be a good event to have. First ever big Counter Strike tournament in Hong Kong. I've never been here before, so I'm excited
How do
for
you
it. And the
pronounce
fact that it's all sold out.
this place? This location is
Check.
Cheklapkop.
I'm going to ask Google to tell me. Check that out to say. Just remember, like when we did. Oh, okay. Chur la Jock.
Chelaljok.
Chur la Jock. Interesting. Go
Okay.
on. Give me actual how. No,
Because don't you need
Give me,
to know this when you go on stage?
yeah,
We're in beautiful Chelajok.
bro. Wait.
So now I've like pushed Banks to do some actual research mid
So
podcast.
the pronouncing is like they're just saying check lap cock, yeah. With like when you hear an American voice pronouncing it,
Yeah.
but in it says is pronounced
So this
ch
lapcock.
la jork. But in AI is telling me ch la jork or phonetically similar to check lap cock, bro. I'm gonna have to ask someone from Hong Kong to tell me how to say it. By the way, you know Eric, who we play Dragon Ball with, he's from Hong Kong originally, so he can tell us.
Ah, yeah.
I will get a native to give me a voice note of it, and then I'll be good. No problems at all. All right, predictions are done. We're now just got the Q&A here. It's 2 questions from Skorga. Um, he said after the disastrous finish to last episode, what happened?
I think we just fucking rambled on and did
What?
something. I
I need
can't
to go look.
remember.
I need to go look back at what we did last episode. That he said it was a disaster.
True.
That's harsh words.
I'm gonna look
What
as
did we
well.
do? It sounds like we edited badly. Final discussion. Best of 5 major final.
I don't even know. Either way, we'll
I'm
have to
watching.
maybe send Scourger a question about that on the Discord. What he meant.
Yeah. Oh
Either
yeah.
way.
Devil walk over to you. That's what I said, and then you had nothing to say.
Oh yeah.
You were complaining about all I left you. Okay, I see what he means now. Now I get it. Now I get it. All right. So what's this question? Let's go through this. It is after disastrous finished the last episode. Dude, move your stupid crosshair off my. I've just got a highlight of your name. When will you guys come up for a closer for each episode? Will you write each other or come up with your own? Oh God, he wants us to come up with an actual closer,
I
like an
mean,
actual
it,
pre-produced spiel. None of this is pre-produced at all. We just ram.
I mean, it's probably a good idea because the closing segments are probably a little bit awkward. It's just you talking and me sitting. Yeah, bye.
All right,
Subscribe.
Devil's got one for you today. Devil's got one today. I know he has. It's in him. He's gonna wing it. I believe in him.
All
And
right.
then he says, second question, major pick'ems. Who are you backing? Bro, you want us to do pick'ems now? We'll do our pick'ems live when it actually is out, just for you to know. But if you want to, I'll give you just a brief look at stage 1 pick'ems in my mind. Yeah.
All right.
I picked on stage 2. You can tell me what you think. Okay. So I want to play the simulator. Can I play simulator? No, I can't. Yes, I can. Simulator. Okay. Legacy beat FlyQuest. Linvision beat Phase. Oh, yes. Bait beat M80. Game Legion beat Fluxo. Fnatic beat Red Candids. Paravision beat the Huns. Nip beat NRG. Imperial beat Rare Atom. Then we get Legacy Linvision. Legacy win. Bait Imperial. Bait win. Game Legion Nip. Nip win. Fnatic Paravision. Oof. Oof.
These are hard. This is a hard group to do this on.
That's hard, bro. Um, Paravision wins.
I think
FaZe Rare
Paravision three
Atom. FaZe
zero.
wins.
To me,
Oh
it
my
almost
gosh.
looks like Gamer Legion Paravision 3-0.
What? Okay, I'm still simulating. FlyQuest beat MRG. M80 beat the Huns. Fluxo beat Red Cannons, I guess. Then Legacy beats Nip to go 3-0. Bait beat Paravision because they always have good games against Paravision. Bait 3-0. Game
You have
Legion
Nip
FaZe.
3-0?
No, I don't have Nip 3-0. I said Legacy always beat Nip.
Ah, yeah.
So Legacy 3-0, Bait 3-0. So then Game Legion FaZe, Game Legion, Limvision, Fluxo, Limvision, Fnatic M80, Fnatic, Imperial, FlyQuest, FlyQuest, the Huns versus Rare Atom, Rare Atom, NRG versus Red Canids, NRG, Nip versus Fnatic, old rivalry, Nip, Paravision Gamer Legion, Paravision, FlyQuest Lin Vision. Oof. Lin Vision, Imperial NRG, Imperial, FaZe Fluxo, FaZe, M80 Rare Atom, M80, FlyQuest M80, FlyQuest, Game Legion Imperial, Game Legion, Fnatic FaZe for a 2-2 decider. Dude, what have I made here? I'll give it to FaZe off experience and not crumbling under pressure. So I've got 0-3, the Huns and Red Canids, 3-0, Legacy Bait, 3-1, Nip, Paravision, Linvision, 3-2, FlyQuest, Game Legion, FaZe.
Mine
That's
is
just
completely
no
different.
research. Yeah, mine. Don't say yours because mine's just completely off the top of my dome, just pressing buttons.
All right. I mean, that's what I did too. I did Legacy Gamer Legion 3-0, FaZe,
Mm-hmm.
Paravision. Why does it say? Oh, there.
You put Game Legion 3-0.
Yeah. They had Fluxo, Fnatic, and FaZe.
Okay.
I mean, I think that just it can happen.
Yeah, go on then. Keep going. Give it
FaZe
to us.
3-1 with Bait and Paravision.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the 0-3, Fluxo and the Huns.
Mm-hmm.
1-3, Rare Atom, Red Canids, and Linvision. I think Fnatic make it through 3-2. I think FlyQuest make it through 3-2. And I think NIP make
Yep.
it through 3-2.
Nice. There you go, Scorgan. There's a bit of early major pickums. That'll probably be very different to what we do
Yeah.
on the actual major episode when that does come because
This
we
was
just did
just
this
a
on the
quick
spot for
one.
you here now. Devwalk, you ready for your outro of episode 32, my dude? No.
Absolutely. So this was
Oh,
episode 32. It was a pleasure. We're finally back. In thank you for Banks for struggling with his equipment, trying to get everything sorted. Even mounting his webcam on a trash bin to make sure that you get the content that you need out there for you today. So, anything to add from you, Banks?
no.
All right.
Nothing.
See you next time.